Hey, what's up? It's Symphony here. Subscribe to my brother Mr. Creepy as Hell channel, and when you're watching his videos, make sure you stay in one piece.
As Melanie was driving back in her neighborhood, coming back from college to spend Thanksgiving week with her parents, she couldn't help but to pass by that house. That house that she and her friend went into, and the house where her friend never left. It brings back a ton of memories, horrifying and tragic memories every time she passed that house. The house had vines growing around it. The house, even though it looked stable on the outside, it was a complete mess on the inside. No one has lived in that house for the last 40 years. And no one, and I mean no one, no matter how much someone tries to sell it and someone moves, the people who move in the house will always move out a couple of months later. Melanie drove up to the driveway garage of her parents' house. She got out and knocked on the door. Her mom swung the door open and her eyes grew wide. She had tears coming out of her eyes as she hugged her daughter. And then her father came out and also hugged her, as he was equally happy to see Melanie as well. Melanie took off her coat while walking into the house, and then she helped her family start preparing for Thanksgiving. As she was doing so, she also couldn't help but to think about her friend that lost her life in that house. Her friend's name was Hillary, and growing up as the only child, Hillary was like a sister to Melanie, and they done everything together. Ride their bikes, and as they went into teenage years, they got into a little trouble here and there. They loved one another, and they cared about one another. This happened 5 years ago. Melanie and Hillary were 17 years old. They were getting drunk one evening while their parents were both out, and they were smoking a little something. As they were doing so, that's when Hillary suggested something to Melanie. Hey Melanie, you want to test your courage? We should go check out that house that's 3 blocks down from where you live. From what you told me, you said no one stays in that house for more than a month before something bad happens. And from what you told me, there's a legend that says that it's haunted or something. Melanie looked at Hillary like she done lost her mind. Hillary, are you fucking crazy? We'll be charged with trespassing. Besides, there may be someone that may own that home. And I'm not gonna go in there with you. I don't care how much alcohol and weed we've been smoking. I'm not gonna be that dumb and that naive to go in a house that someone could possibly own. Look, I'm not trying to go to jail, Melanie protested. But Hillary kept on convincing Melanie that they should have a little fun and take a little risk once in a while. Come on, Melanie. Just for 5 minutes. Nothing ain't gonna happen. Just a quick tour of the house and we'll get out of there, alright? Fine, let's go. But only for 5 minutes, Melanie agreed. A couple of minutes later, they made their way towards that house. When they got towards the house looked even more creepier up close. There were vines growing all around it. There was a window that was shattered. Melanie tried to open up the door, but it was locked. But Hillary suggested that they jump in through the window. The window was not that high at all. So both Melanie and Hillary jumped in through the window, and they were inside the house. Once they got inside the house, they were greeted with a very moldy smell mixed with a wet mop smell. It was really, really horrible. Both Melanie and Hillary covered up their noses as they looked around the house. The evening sun made the house even more eerier. As Hillary and Melanie looked around the house, they couldn't help but notice how large the house was. But they also noticed how old the house was as well. The walls, which seemed to be fading and paint peeled off. Hillary and Melanie walked around the house and they explored every room. But nothing didn't seem abnormal at first. After they got done, that's when Abby and Hillary decided to leave the house. But as they were leaving, that's when things started to happen. Melanie and Hillary looked at each other in confusion, wondering where the noise was coming from. But they didn't want to investigate, so they tried to make their way towards the front door to get out. But when they tried to open the door, it was stripped and locked. What the fuck? It's locked. How is that impossible? I don't even get it. The door, it's the knobs. They're unlocked, but I can't open the door. A frantic Hillary said. Move, let me try, Melanie said while shoving Hillary aside to try to open up the door. But she had no luck either. The door would not open. Fuck, we're stuck. Oh my god, we gotta do something. We can't be trapped in here, Melanie said. And before Hillary could reply, they heard some weird noises. It sounded like moaning and growling and screaming at the same time. Then, the air began to cool off drastically, to the point it started to get extremely cold, and the coldness turned into Arctic air, to the point where Hillary and Melanie could see their breaths. Fuck, why is it so cold? Hillary asked. Before Melanie could even reply, she saw something that frightened her and gave her chills. The floorboard underneath them, the wooded floor, began to open up. It was almost like it was sinking in, but when it opened, there was a bunch of hot lava. Melanie and Hillary started to scream as they tried their very best to open the door, but it wasn't budging. The air went from being frigid cold to being steamy and downright hot. It almost felt like they were in the pits of hell. And then, the moment of horror. They heard screams and laughter. Laughter that did not sound like humans at all. Screams that sounded like people were in immense amount of pain. And then, a scaly, red hand stuck out of the hole that the wood gave way to. The hand, which had sharp black fingernails, reached out and grabbed Hillary's legs. She began to scream, and she cried out, Melanie, help me, please. Don't let whatever this is take me, please. I got you. Just hold on. Melanie used all of her might to pull Hillary out from the grip of whatever that was that got a hold of her. But no matter how hard and how much energy Melanie used to pull Hillary out of that, she couldn't. This creature was way too strong. Melanie used her strength again to try to pull Hillary out from under this creature, but it was too much, and the creature yanked Hillary down under. She can hear a bone crack as she believed she may have dislocated Hillary's arm. And then, as the creature was dragging Hillary down so fast, she can hear Hillary's scream fading fast. With a swift move, Melanie tried her very best to catch up to Hillary, but the hand of that creature was moving much more faster. And before Melanie could even get to where Hillary was to grab her hand, the creature yanked her down under. And then the wood rose back up and closed. Melanie dropped down on the floor, yelling out for Hillary, slamming her hands on the wood. But nothing. It was quiet. Melanie began to cry. She didn't know what happened to her friend. She didn't know what to do. Her friend was long gone. Later that day, Melanie was able to open up the door as somehow it unlocked. She ran out that house so fast without even thinking. When she got home, she told her parents about what happened. They called the cops, and despite them doing a search, they couldn't find Hillary anywhere. Her parents were distraught, and they blamed Melanie for their daughter's disappearance. Melanie continued her senior year in high school, and then after that, she eventually left town to go to a college that she got accepted in, trying to put what happened to her in the past, but that was hard to do so, as she couldn't help but to think about her friend, Hillary, her dearest friend, who would have been 22 if she had still been alive. We cut to the present day as Melanie was eating dinner with her family. After she got done eating, She went for a walk in the neighborhood. As she was walking, she came past that house. She stopped and looked at it, and she couldn't help but to feel an overwhelming amount of guilt and dread. She really felt like she was responsible for her friend's disappearance. After she got done crying, she walked further away into the sun of the neighborhood, longing for her friend, missing her every single day.